They are taking our kids every day. I shout them in and no one has a thing to say. For those who have been isolated, don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallet. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them. But when they come, your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeve. You can't do what you're trying to do. We have done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You no longer will steal our kids this way. Tiff and the Punisher have come for the calling. They are giving us the CPS warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, god damn it. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up like thin tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather flock together. So watch out CPS, here we come. Picking you one by one. We promise to bring back the family and prosecute the caseworkers unhandily. Give us back the kids you have taken. Tiff and the Punisher sending you all on a vacation. The one with bars in the windows, and the only games you play are on Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and the Punisher Warrior, and we cry out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. All children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping. Stopping.
Hey, Tiff, what's up?
Not much. Another cold day, no school tomorrow.
Tiffany will take any sort of anything that you guys can send to her at this point in time. Something to calm her nerves. I mean, is it the weather at least that you can send them outside to play in?
No, it's all ice.
Oh, so it's not even fun.
Not even fun.
Oh man, it's just not like you go out there and build snowmen and have a good time and eat hot cocoa and all that stuff.
You can't even build a snowman. Underneath the snow, underneath the ice, it's so powdery. No.
Goodness sakes.
Sure.
Well, I don't know. So what's everybody else up to tonight? We got a special guest. Well, we got a guest coming on, and they are special too. But we got everybody in the house tonight. Look at that. We got a packed house right now. Debbie says it's cold there and there's still school. Well, that's lucky for you, Debbie. Lady P, what's going on? We got Brenda's in the house. We got Miss Arjuna's from Scotland, so she's up late. She's probably still partying for New Year's. We got Tammy. We got Miss Avelia's in the house. Wow, we got a bunch of people. Well, thanks everybody for checking in. Make sure you guys hit the like and all that stuff. Spread the word. Do the scan thing. Jesus Almighty. Make sure you do the like, share, all of that stuff that we do. We have a family coming on here in just a few minutes that they have quite a story. Obviously, all of our stories are wow, what a story! But they've really got a story, and they are very active in the fight against CPS. So I'm excited to hear. I only got to hear a little bit of it briefly earlier, but I'm excited to hear what they have to talk to us about. It's going to be a good interview. They were just getting their daughter to bed, and then they will be in. So we got a couple minutes to kill. Anybody have any questions or anything? Anything you guys want to say? Anything you want to talk about? Anything at all? Anything?
Yeah. So I sent on my Facebook page and in a group chat that the American Bar Association wants to put into law to stop terminating parental rights. So they had a webinar today.
I wasn't invited.
And trust me when I tell you, these people know exactly what's going on in these courtrooms. The government knows. They know. So
tell them what the ABA said.
That they're not understanding why lawyers are not standing up to these judges and saying that these are constitutional violations. They're not understanding why judges are in such a big hurry to terminate kids' parental rights. They don't talk about after the termination where the kids end up, if they end up back in foster care, how the parents are feeling, how the children are feeling. They don't even care about any of that. And 90%, there was an appellate lawyer on there today, and he said 90% of the clients are losing their parental rights over not completing their programs. They even talked about Maine. They talked about Maine today.
They should be, because Maine's where it's at. Maine's the hub of all this business.
There was a lady on there that was a prosecutor, and she thought when she was signing over, but she said when she was signing the dotted line to terminate parental rights, she had no idea what she was signing.
That's awesome. So that's like signing the death penalty docket. Here you go to death and have a good day. You don't even know what you're signing. That's
Right.
terrible.
Like, she thought, this is what she said, I thought these children were going to family members. As soon as I heard that she had terminated parental rights, I was kind of a little pissed off about that.
Yeah. You couldn't hear anything else but red.
But they are having another one. And I emailed them to put me on that list, and I sent it to Darren. Darren needs to be on that webinar too.
Well, I need to be invited 2 minutes before it next time.
No. No. You got it at 10:30 because you just said what time you got it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't till 1. Did Vinny? Is Vinny's on here? Ask Vinny if he watched it, because he got the link too.
Oh, good. I hope one of us got it at least.
No, don't go there with me, Darren, because you got
I'm there. I'm in it right now. We are there. We are in it right now. We are there.
No. You can't do that.
Listen, guys, you sent me an email to an email that's even obsolete. And it was like some email I used 12 years ago. I don't even know how she found it. I don't even know where it came from, but she sent it to there. I opened it up. Google's like, is this a mistake? I didn't even see the thing, but we do have things that ring, and they're called a phone. Tiffany has my 1-800 direct to Darren phone line. That didn't ever ring. And then see no bat symbol up in the sky. I said, Darren, check out this stuff. So Tiffany is actually a lot smarter than me right now, because she got the news updated, and I don't even know what we're talking about. I don't know anything. I don't know what the news is at all. Well,
that's what's going on. So they are working to get this into the legislators. They said it's going to be a very long road, because they will get pushed back.
It's a long road. It's just like there's just too much. There's too much red tape involved in all of this.
Well, they also said the same things. They pretty much said the same things that we talk about, right? And they too,
we tell the truth,
right? And they too are saying that it is the death penalty. It's the civil death penalty, and even the chick that was signing papers for parental rights to be taken, she got past that, and she didn't understand. But she did say, we have funerals for people who died. We celebrate marriages, but we don't deal with the loss of the parent-child relationship. So we'll see.
Hey, Tiff, I got to take this call from a guest that are waiting for us. They must be having trouble logging in, so I will be right here, but I'm going to...
Go ahead. Oh, Vinny, you watched it too? So, yeah. Yep. Make sure you send that girl that email so that you can get into the next webinar. I already emailed her, and I sent it to Darren too, so that he can be on that webinar too, because I think it's very informative. And they do talk about stuff that we've already discussed. The only thing I had a problem with was, how come we know more than them? Right? Like, the appellate attorney, he said he had a mother. She had 6 kids. 3 went to her mother, 3 went to her fiance. And they told the mom and the fiance that at any time, if the mom came around, they would take the kids from them. I mean, come on now. It was terrible. But anything that we can all do to get the word out and spread it around that they are terminating parental rights at a very high rate. They are taking more and more children in, and we're running out of time because they're running out of time because the Trump administration is about to go in. It's been so long, I don't even know what day it is, or the date. So we all just need to band together and get this word out. And Darren will be back in a minute. So Vinny saw it too, so he knows what I'm talking about. But it was a pretty good webinar. It was in an hour, and they recorded it. So I'm hoping that it comes out soon so that we can find it and put it on the show. I also asked the girl when I emailed her and told her to put me on the list to. I wanted her to come on our show and talk about what they talked about at the webinar today. So, how everybody doing? I'm over here losing my mind. Now I got to get the baby. Because he's into stuff. So, Vinny, what did you think about the webinar? Did you think it was informative, or is it already stuff that we already know? Because I know a lot of the stuff I already knew about. Go ahead. What'd they say, Darren?
We got her.
All right.
She is in the green room waiting.
All right, bring her in. I'm going to put myself on mute.
All right. Hold on here. Let me just pull up these notes. All right. So wait till you guys. This story is well, like I said earlier. All of our stories are most important to us anyway. But as you know, this is quite a doozy. These people have been fighting CPS since 2012. So that's a long time. So that's 13 years. These people have been in the trenches with the CPS battle, and it's a doozy. So I'm gonna bring her out, and let's hear the story from them. All right, forensic friends.
We're live.
How we doing, Miss Jen?
Hey, Darren and Tiff.
How are we tonight?
We are trying to get this going on the computer right now. I just have it on the phone, but I'm trying to get it on the computer.
Oh yeah, you're in on the computer now, right? So this is you here on the computer.
Well,
is that where you want to be? Yeah. Hold on. There, now we got two of you. You get to pick.
You can see him over my shoulder.
Hey, there he is. All right. You know what? Restream is...
That's Dad.
I love Restream, but man, it's tough sometimes. I don't understand why it makes it so difficult for people. Let's see. Oh, you know what I can do right now? I can show us.
All right, we've got feedback.
Yeah, it's only because you have them both open.
All right, then I'll just shut the computer.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. Leaving site.
That'll be good.
And we'll just use the phone.
There you go. Yep, it's not that painful. Sometimes it is, but just tell me if you're ready to switch or if you guys are ready to rock and roll. Guys, these people, like I said, they have fought for 13 years. I've never they're hip on all the stuff that's going on. Tiff was actually at the American Bar Association meeting this morning, and well, Tiff, do you want to let them in on what you heard, that updated info?
Yes, please.
They are actually working on a law to stop termination of parental rights.
Huh.
Right? I mean, $2 2 days too late for me, but maybe they'll make it retro. Who knows? Maybe they'll do something like that.
Yeah, Vinny just said.
Obviously, they need to make it retro.
Vinny just said it too. And a lot of the stuff is what we talk about on our show anyway. But they already know that they're going to get a lot of pushback because it's all about the money. It's all about the incentives. They even talked about that.
They admitted to serving the underworld.
Well, here's the thing. There were 4 different people. Sorry about that. There were 4 different people. And the appellate lawyer is the one who finally admitted that CPS, the states get money when they remove a child. They get incentives then, and they get incentives when the children are adopted out, which we all knew. We all knew that.
Connie Reguli has done an exhaustive and very scholarly deep dive into it. She's traced every dime. It's not just the removals, it's the secondary and the tertiary effects where everyone is so psychologically fraught and destroyed, and they wind up the next generation of people who are institutionalized. Mm-hmm. It's not just idiot. This is a long-term plan.
Well, here's the thing that people don't understand. If you're a female and you had any dealings with CPS as a child, you are in a system and they wait for you to have children.
It's not just the females. My husband was a former foster youth. It's the males too.
Well, it's both of them. But the women are the ones, what does it say? Mama's baby and daddy's maybe. Mm-hmm. They definitely track the females. I knew they tracked the men, but it's not as much as they track the women.
Yeah, they put out birthing alerts, everything, because the women go in and they get WIC and they get those things, and then they go in automatically watching them. That's our friend that's in Canada. That's why they took her granddaughter. It was because of Oleo is the program there, not WIC, but she got in the Oleo program, and because of that, she was put on a birthing alert. Thankfully, she won. Our friend Josie won and got her granddaughter back, but now she's doing a 3-month house arrest bid because supposedly she gave a death threat to her caseworker. It's ridiculous how they can do whatever the hell they want. They can make up all the lies they want. They can say whatever they want, and everybody's okay with it. The American public is okay.
It's all over the group. Mm-hmm. If you read the chats in the groups, there are endless instances of where, the caseworker's afraid of me. It's the oldest trick in the book. Mm-hmm. It's their way of trying to control a narrative, paint and malign a parent as such and such to array the full ferocity of the state against them. Mm-hmm. Reprehensible. But we're it's an old strategy. We're not stupid. You're not truly afraid of any one of us, but you have every reason to be afraid of him who created us, right? If there's a final judgment and they're all just kidnapping kids and trafficking them. Oh, I like that expression. This isn't child trafficking.
We're no bar attorneys here.
It's exploitation. They'll cop to that less inflammatory term. It's child exploitation, but it's not trafficking. It most certainly is trafficking.
Absolutely.
Once you start doing the deep dive and you start hearing from other families, there's instances of families being followed around county fairs and them just picking out which kids they want. And next thing you know, there's a case open against that family. Interesting.
Yeah. They have catalogs in California. If you're not going to tell me that these nurses that are in there that are doing their mandating reporting, they have friends or they have people in CPS, that say, look, at this couple's looking for a blonde-haired, blue-eye, or whatever color or type of baby. They see these babies come out. Next thing you know, this girl has drugs in her system. We just tested her, and off that baby goes, and that's it. Mm-hmm. They don't ever have a say in any of it. Next thing you know, the mother's sitting there going, what the hell happened? Epidurals are proven to have some type of things in them that they may be testing. I want to be careful with saying this because I don't want to get us nicked by the man here. But, these things are popping up in all these moms that are giving birth like they're getting drug tests that are coming back positive and they don't even have drugs in their system. And who allowed them to test that to begin with? They didn't authorize that. No one authorized this
Right.
stuff. So, I
Right.
mean, it's just absolutely disgusting. And the American people need to realize that this isn't just a bunch of us belly aching and complaining because we lost our kids. Because, they automatically assume that you are a POS. Listen, when I never even knew about CPS when I got involved with this stuff, had no clue. We were a white picket fence family, like 2 houses, a booming business, everything in the world going for us. Our kid was perfect, the whole 9, and here they come. But before that, if you would have told me CPS was involved in your life, I wouldn't even have given you the time of day. I'd have been like, wow, you must be a real jerk and move along because, you did something bad. I trusted in our government and thought that they were doing the right thing until that happens to me. But the problem is, until that happens to you is when it's too late. There needs to be preventative measures made so that people know their rights against these people before they take your children, not when they come into your life.
Which gets to one of the points that I wanted to include in this cast. So you may have had an opportunity to peruse the timeline. It's an egregious travesty of justice, but it was about when Marsha Blackburn took office in Tennessee. She was a member of the House before she was a senator. And I started bombarding her with letters about how watch and something need to be done about this, and the governor won't listen, the attorney general won't listen, none of the other, everybody, a bundsman, the police won't take a report, the sheriff turns a blind eye, you name it. The churches are in on it. There must be something going on here that I don't know about. And I always got a form letter back. It showed that nobody had read the letter. It just said, thank you for reaching out to our office.
Right.
And that continues to this day. I write them quarterly, every quarter, 4 times a year. Hey, every single senator. Hey, 2/3 of the House. You may or may not be aware, but it's your duty to read. They read the Constitution on the Constitution signing day, September 17th every year in the House floor. Perhaps you're familiar with the fact that the Reconstruction era amendments, 13, 14, and 15, they all end with, and if this isn't being handled properly, the responsibility to enforce falls to the Congress. Checks and balances would work perfectly if we would just adhere to principles that are laid out, very thoughtfully laid out, hard-won, blood-drenched documents. So that brings me back to Grady's Law.
Why don't we? Do you want to do this? Why don't you tell us your story a little bit?
Okay, I had had some medical issues after deliveries, and we came to make the acquaintance of folks at the Salvation Army. We were staying at their place while our apartment was getting fixed up. Well, we attracted the obsessive attention of a woman who happened to have a few child friends and family and kids out of this situation as well, given the fact that she was the only witness that the court was entertaining any information from. They made sure they barricaded that door, and there wasn't a single other person, not my family, not any of the letters, anything favorable to us. They made sure that nothing made it onto the record. Not a person passed the front door, not a camera, which I think is a violation of the Second Amendment, because even though the Second Amendment says right to bear arms, I think of cameras as a defensive arm. Go talk to and he's fighting for that. But then she set up a dynamic whereby, exploiting the fact that Michael was a former foster youth and doesn't have a good taste in his mouth as pertains to the system, she would run him off. If you don't get out of the household, we're going to blah, blah, blah. And here's me with medical issues, 3 babies in diapers. The bathroom's on the 2nd floor. She set up a dynamic whereby there would be a bruise. Boom, they give the kids to her. How does that work? Does that sound like a conflict of interest to anybody? Raise your hand if that sounds a little ridiculous. I always made the analogy earlier when I was speaking. That's like saying Tiffany walking into the mall and she sees somebody driving a Rolls Royce out there and goes, you know what, I don't like the way you handle that car. report it to the authorities. See, that guy doesn't know how to drive a Rolls Royce, and then the authorities give it to you.
Right.
That is
So
obscene.
this lady reported you for these.
Yeah, that also threatened and tried to intimidate us with system involvement. We wouldn't leave the household. Here, I've got uterine prolapse. Ladies know what that is. Uterine prolapse, rectus diastasis, bad back, urethral prolapse, rectal prolapse. I'm a train wreck down there. I can't go downstairs, babies, and make sure that everybody's safety is attended to in a concrete box. Public housing is like living inside of a brick. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
And it's rather dangerous, even if you are completely physically fit and perfectly capable. And she knew what she was doing. She had seen us walking in the neighborhood. She even holding on to our wheelchair at one point. It was very serious. Couldn't get the surgery until, was it 2018? Didn't qualify for surgery. Nobody wanted to perform any of these corrective surgeries. 2017. Took until 2017 before any surgeon would touch it. And we had been to half a dozen. Oh, it's got to be a stage 5 before we'll, because they have criteria. We're just not willing risks and benefits. But they had our kids for 15, 18, whatever the CPS rules are, 15 or 18 months, 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
I think it's 18 months. Yeah, they have 18 months to resolve a case. I wound up staying in jail for 45 days, telling them I want a jury trial. I want the fullness of the facts coming out and all this. Yeah, no, you don't want a trial.
Why were you
if we
in
take
jail?
this to trial, you're just going to go to jail for 20 years.
Why were you in jail?
Chris, one of our children sustained injuries. As I was saying, she chased my only hands out of the house. And one of our children did sustain an injury. Well, the rule books themselves say if the injury is accidental,
Right.
CPS doesn't get involved.
Right.
It was injuries. They weren't going to go on that premise. Not when they can get 3 beautiful, not just 3, but we delivered 2 children. And this woman goes to me, well, we've got some childless friends and family that need kids. And given the fact that she's the only witness that the courts are considering any information from, what woman wants, woman gets. We adopted out 2 of the children thinking, oh, well, they just show up and they kidnap first and ask questions later. Let's see about protecting these 2 children, at very least from the system. We can't protect them from these predators and protect them from the system if we go this route with them. She just flipped this other 3 as well. She's had them at the removal 2015 onward. We were so close to having them home in 2020. So, you play the game of the system. I was raised to give people the benefit of the doubt. Trust that their intentions are good until they give you reason not to. And boy, every step of the way they gave us reason not to, but there's nothing you can do. Your attorney is not zealously in favor of reunification. He's just showing up. You're like,
Yeah.
buddy, raise your hand, object to that. But
No.
let them know. Let them know that that's not going to fly. Let them know that we have exculpatory evidence to contradict the premise they're going on. Oh, don't rock the boat.
Right.
Oh, you're in the bottom of the 9th, bases loaded. You don't want to make the judge mad.
Yeah.
Isn't the judge supposed to apply the law? Isn't he supposed to apply the law as written? Aren't we supposed to be entitled to a jury trial? You can't just kidnap somebody's kids, say that the parents caused an injury, and then where's the criminal?
Well,
where's the?
Where was your imminent danger?
Yes, they can. They send Hitler's brown shirts to do it for them.
Where was your imminent danger? Like, okay, your kid got hurt, but where's the imminent danger? What's the they're gonna die
And the judge
immediately.
declared in open court. He declared in open court that the house was safe and appropriate.
Not just that, but we've got a healthy 8-year-old that we've had since birth.
Yeah. Oh, that they tried to get also.
But yet we're
Inferior
Yeah.
parent. 2, we had placed a call to the 3 in her home to let them know that their sibling had arrived. Well, wouldn't you know,
Mhm.
CPS shows up at the hospital.
we already knew what was going to happen.
Of course.
You know what the complaint was? Nobody is attending to the baby.
And the
Really?
baby's in the hospital.
Round the clock
In the
nursing
hospital.
care, but there's nobody paying attention to the baby. Where's your
Wow.
firsthand knowledge? There is no firsthand knowledge. This is a woman who's not even in the same state. Well, they were in Murfreesboro, we were in Bristol. It's, you know, it's almost being in a different state. It's a very, very long drive. So you don't have any
Right.
firsthand knowledge, but CPS is going to have to follow up on the complaint nonetheless. It's not a valid complaint.
Right.
Well, we've already put that to the test. That's all false anyway.
Yeah.
We called that because they didn't have beds for our kids. And they said, yeah, we don't need to check up on them.
Oh,
Really? Thought you supposed to show up.
Michael's saying we put it to the test. When we knew for sure that they didn't have beds yet for our children, we inquired. So what would happen if we were to make a report that they don't have beds? We know that you guys have a checklist, and on that is lights, water, sewer, blah, blah, bedding. We know they don't have beds. They told us to pound rocks. They weren't going to touch if we were to propound that. No.
Because it
Doesn't work that way for them. They don't even show up in car seats half the time to put your kids in.
Yep. I remember I saw that, Connie. I saw the video. I never saw the poor families that have fallen into these. So, and to circle back to what do we do with law? We lost a child during this. Also, our champion in this story, I'm not going to mention her name, but everybody knows the organization that she works for. Ring, 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 ring. Give us your spare change. Ring, 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 ring. Merry Christmas. She was, it took me about $15,000 to get the kids home back from Virginia when she took it upon herself to drop them off in Virginia. Yeah, it's a long story, but she knew that Michael was running late and picking up the kids from school. Well, then I'm just going to get them. You'll do no such thing. I delivered a baby that day by emergency C-section because she had scared the beeswax. We lost him. He died. He was still premature. Yeah, he only survived outside of the womb for a month, but he still wasn't due for 6 weeks. So he wound up perishing. So I named this law after Grady. It's based on Deuteronomy chapter 19, verses 16 through 21. It's called the Law of the False Accuser. This is where, wrong, I think it's operating exactly how they designed it to operate, so that they can do SEDA-KV trust fraud, Title 4D money to the states. Anybody with a bar license gets rich, the states get rich. It's operating the way they want it to. So, but it's irresponsible in its absence of Grady's law. We need to include the law of the false accuser, which states that if someone reports you falsely, and that's what I'm saying, it should have been included in AFSA 1997 before they signed that thing into law. It need to have a provision that said falsely anything, any matter. And it turns out that after extensive probing before the judges of the land, extensive probing, it proves that you're a false witness. You get the penalty that you were trying to ascribe to your target, to your victim. So let's say the penalty for child abuse and neglect is 20 years in jail. The false accuser gets that very penalty that, sending them to the hospital. Oh, when it turns out that it's a bunch of bunk, boom, you go to jail for 20 years.
Yep.
And that's the law of our Creator. I don't know how many people believe that, there's a home at a yacht and Heavenly Father, but that law, Torah, it's valid. Was to run a sophisticated society that had just come out of Egypt, and its principles are just as solid today, and foundationally we erred in not including those things. And I know our founding fathers were very educated men. They put a lot of really juicy tidbits into the first 7 articles and the Bill of Rights and all that, but they missed that one. And I think it needs to be codified. I think it needs to be in the Second Amendment because it's a defensive arm. Recording in courts and Grady's law, it all needs to be codified, and there's a way to do that, through a Supreme Court case. We'll take it. We'll be the case that codifies Grady's law and includes recording in courts and the law of the false accuser as defense.
My argument for that with the Second Amendment I agree with you, because actually the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, does not say guns. It says anything that you can use to defend yourself. Anything.
Yeah. The truth. The truth is something we use to defend ourselves. So that's where recording in courtrooms is absolutely protected as a Second Amendment right. And Grady's Law. If somebody else wants to bring accusation against you, well, boy, howdy, I hope they thought this through. Because if they know the penalty for which they are accusing you of criminal act, it's going to fall right in your lap. So our, 2015, they, during the forensic, they called these things forensic interviews. What do we do? What's going to happen if we don't bring the children into the CASA office for forensic interviews? What's the outcome of that? Oh, this will not go away. You could be arrested. You don't need to. Okay, fine. We'll cooperate with you. Let's do this. We're still trusting that the truth will set you free. They bring the children into their forensic interviews. We find out that they are not beholden to record anything. Did you know this? They don't have to have audio or video.
That's Tennessee.
In Tennessee.
They don't have to record, which I think
it's baloney. How do you challenge the evidence? How do you you're supposed to be able to challenge evidence. Evidence has to be valid in order to make determinations off of, but you can't challenge it. All you have is a CASA worker's word that she thinks that she heard the child say A, B, C, D. And of course, it's gonna go in their favor because every last person works for the state, which is one of Tanaway's premises, that Article 3, Section 2, in any case in which a state is named a party, automatically original jurisdiction goes to the Supreme Court, not to any state court. I know Gunner has spoken a little bit about Constitution. There's another one. Add that to the list. The integrity of the evidence is absolutely nil. They have no actual evidence to stand on to substantiate a removal. There is no imminent danger. There's only, we want your kids. They're beautiful.
Yep.
They're going to be very easy to place.
Yep. They're not damaged good.
Yep. Not yet. Well, now they are now,
Right.
Which is the whole reason I reached out to you. I find out I haven't spoken to these children on the day in question. I hadn't spoken with the children.
Well, that's another thing too. Our rights was violated when they stopped their visitations without stopping our parental rights.
Right. And only
Michael's bringing up the point that in 2020 they stopped their
Did the judge
visitations.
stop your visitations, or did CPS?
Yeah,
The judge.
CPS hasn't been in the case ever since 2016.
So the judge.
So it was just us
visitation?
versus ringy dingy, give
Yeah.
us all your spare change. We're holy.
Yeah. So did the judge stop your visitation? Who stopped you guys from visiting?
Yep.
Yep.
The-
did.
At the request of, I'm just following my lawyer's recommendation.
Because they do that
She
for
said,
abandonment.
I want their visitation stopped.
Right.
Huh?
They do that so that they can get you for abandonment.
Well,
Because after 6 months of no contact with your child, the courts will call that the abandonment.
we continued. Oh, they're harassing me.
Yep.
You have my harassing you. I'm trying to have contact with my offspring who are supposed to be under my roof, under my care, control of their education,
Yep.
protection, medical care, all that. That's my responsibility, which if they had allowed me to introduce evidence, you would have seen that their growth curves, they're perfectly on their growth curves. There was no all the evidence that would have mitigated against a claim of abuse or neglect. Do you think that thing made it past the front door? No, we gave the attorneys stacks of it.
Yeah, they didn't.
It's not in the record. We finally got our record. It's nowhere to be found in the record.
That's why we tell everybody, check them every month, month after month. Go to the courts, ask them what's in your files, because they don't file anything. All those attorneys do is make sure that they steal your kid from you legally, and make sure that there's no way for you to argue it in appeals. They don't do a damn thing about winning. They don't care about you winning. They care about the fact of making that appeal as tight as possible so that you can't appeal and you can't win. That's all they do. They hold your hand right to a TPR. That's
They
what the
walk your
attorneys
hand. Yeah.
Yep.
So we
You
didn't
don't
have
know
a
any
formal
better.
TPR, sir.
You don't know any better. You just think that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, what the attorneys recommend. Until you
And
find yourself abused.
what DHS is commanding you to do. You will take parenting classes. You will go to individual counseling. You will participate in domestic violence counseling. You will go to anger management. You will, all at your expense. You will pay the supervisor to visit.
No. Yes.
$150 an hour.
No.
You'll pay for a supervisor to attend your visits. Don't say anything about the case to the children, but the children have questions. They're the ones raising topics. They want to know why Grady's no longer with us. Don't talk about it. Wow, really? These kids are not allowed to grieve the death of their... Okay, got it. You got it.
Wow.
We came into different Facebook groups. Yours came a little bit later, much later, because we weren't around in 2015, but... we dealt with different advocates who sent us, this is all of the violations that they're responsible for. A thick packet of papers, line by line, 18 USC, this and that, 11 USC, this and that, 24 USC, this and that. The severed child-parent relationship amounts to something like 50 mil per kid, per incident, if they age out and go to 18. So, they're into us for millions and millions and millions of dollars, but I can't even get the court to... last week, I finally got the court record. We met a bar attorney who was not asking for $50,000, Vince Davis. Sean McMillan won't practice in Tennessee. Love him, but he won't practice in Tennessee. He's making strides.
Right.
But it's all too late. These kids are already terrorized. They're already yanked away from a protective parent, a loving and protective parent who is not actually guilty of anything nefarious, but the system's going to pretend that they are for their purposes. Which brings us to why we're on the show. Our oldest is hidden from us right now. Tiff, did he tell you about... Okay. So I was stating earlier, we hadn't heard our children's voices since Thanksgiving. Guardian's ignoring my calls. Guardian's not taking my calls, which is really not entirely suspicious for her. It's kind of her modus operandi around this time of year because they got some bell ringing to do. They got some fundraising to do. She texts me on the 21st of December. It's been a month since I've heard their voices, and says, "Can we talk, just you and me?" Proceeds to tell me that she institutionalized my oldest.
Yeah, they were the best bet.
They were the favorable candidate for custody. Kids in institution can't have contact with them for at least 90 days. Sounds a lot like their AR institutions that they run themselves. You're not allowed to have any contact with the outside world because someone could fall back into their sinful ways.
Wow.
They totally sequester them from and that's where we are right now. If anybody has any knowledge as to our son, I want to protect his identity, is missing and has not been heard from. I'm being told, don't rock the boat. Don't, PIs can't find him. I got 2 private investigators who've been trying to identify his whereabouts at all the different private facilities within a 50-mile radius, 100-mile radius of where they're known to be making their domicile right now.
Check out of the state.
All I found out is that...
Check all the surrounding states.
Yeah, we checked surrounding... The only thing...
That's what I told her.
Yep, he's got me on dog. I've been making every call. We know that he's not in a state-run facility. They put him in some private facility so that I definitely could not get any information, would not be able to identify his whereabouts. And I don't know, what do you guys think? You think it amounts to intentional infliction, emotional distress to tell a mother that you've institutionalized her son and then to go, psych, we're not going to tell you where he is. Click, Well,
I talked to her on the phone afterwards, and she said that, I was going to call Jennifer and tell her, but I knew this was going to happen. But yet you've done it anyway.
Yeah. I knew that Jennifer would get excited.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and she got more than excited.
When I worked in medicine, I used to have to teach patients how to do anger management because you have to do a clinical rotation through behavioral. And I did it as a PA student and I did it as a medical student. We used to have to teach anger management. I know how to deal with this woman. I've got my chart out. You know, you start out calm. Then you let her know how disappointed you are. And after I got too enraged, and she just hung up the phone, decided she wasn't going to deal with me anymore. Meanwhile, she knew from the beginning of the call she wasn't going to tell me where he was. She was just going to light the bomb.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if she didn't know how my wife felt about her, she did that night.
So yeah, that's one of the reasons for my having finally reached out. Oh, you know, you want to go on Cynthia's CPS Horror Stories. There's a lot of different podcasts that you could tell your story on, but nothing really pushed me over the edge of finally going public with it, especially considering they like to seal the records. Oh, we seal the records for the privacy issue. No, it's to conceal the crimes. It's because it makes it a lot harder to investigate the crimes. Look, it took me 4 years. I've been trying to get this record. I've been having advocates. I've been having PIs. Everybody's FOIA requests. Couldn't get them. One bar attorney makes a 60-second phone call, and we've got that record. It's a club, and we ain't in it.
You have that right. You absolutely have that one right.
Well, but it's my understanding you're trying to join it, right,
Oh,
Dan?
we're all in on this fight. We're all in
club.
on this fight together. We want to work with everybody. We have no qualms with anybody. We're not playing this game of I want to be first and this, that. Whatever looks good and whatever looks good for the fight, we're in. Like, that's it, period.
I'm saying you're going to join, you're going to get your bar license.
Yep, no, that's what, you know, I'm actually, I already have a bar number. I'm in law school. I'm doing that stuff, but you know, there's got to be a good one of us in there somewhere, right? We got to throw us into the mix, you know? Which
is why I was aimed at forensics. Anybody who knows me knows that all through PA school, I still to this day call up there and find out what the teams do. And the people that worked in forensic medicine on Long Island, Dennis is still doing it. I know these people because I worked with them. I was interested from jump.
Yeah.
I had no idea I'd find myself on the receiving end of a forensic investigation, but the good people have got to go into these careers. We have got to get the education. We have got to get licensed, and we've got to be on the inside. Michael too. He was inspired to, just like you guys. He's going to law school. He's not going to let the poor guy get decimated anymore. Stonewalled, steamrolled, browbeaten, maligned, everything turned upside down, terrorized.
Here's the thing. This is what we tell everybody now, is when you're in these courts, when you're going up against this stuff, you need to start defending yourself for the appeal, preparing yourself for the appeal. So whatever you're going through in district court, just be prepared to lose, because you need to get to the appeal. That way you go to a court that has some sort of judicial integrity, because these district courts don't matter. They're going to rule the way that they want to rule.
And then there's the matter. There's also the matter that half of these cases didn't belong in a state court to begin with. A state cannot be impartial. Everybody who's bringing these charges against you has a vested interest in the outcome being bad parent, bad parent. That's the outcome they're going to manifest.
Right.
Whether or not they have anything substantial upon which to rest any such conclusion, that's the outcome they're going to get. They're going to make sure they get that outcome. And it's going to look like to the world that you are a bad parent, when in fact
on paper,
you were
it looks
deprived
awful.
of due
When they read
process.
that back to you in the courtroom, boy, you sound terrible. You're like, wow, that's really me? Holy smokes, you know? I mean,
and the psyche evals, they load the paperwork with their expert. You come to find out that these experts aren't even with the department a year later.
Gotta move them all around.
There's one guy with integrity out there, Mackenzie, Dr. something Mackenzie, and Dr. Childress. There's two, psychologists, psychiatrists. Yep, Childress is good and Mackenzie's good. He's in Texas. They're the only ones you could get an objective and a compassionate balanced input
Who
from.
was the other one? You
These
said
other ones are
Children from
paid by
Hill?
the state.
McKenzie?
Yeah, Mackenzie. I'd have to look it up. He's in my Facebook.
Okay.
I'll get the information to you so we can include it.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of the good guys. He'll stand outside the courtroom and he'll be like, "Hey, I'm here," and they'll all get, "Oh, we're scared of him." Why? Because I sent you an email. He's one of the good ones.
Great.
That's how you can identify us. We're the ones that everybody says people are afraid of. That one.
That's this one right
Yeah.
here.
Never heard of why, but
This one right here. I'll tell you what. This is a warrior right above. She's just been doing this for 30 years.
You know, let me tell you, after I got out of prison, CPS was like, "You're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you're gonna do it the way we." I said, "Bitch, kiss my ass. I'm not doing shit. You can't do anything to me. There's only one person that can, and he's not you." And that was my parole officer. Okay.
oh, they're talking about Jesus, and he ain't back yet.
Right.
No. I was talking about my parole officer because he was the only one that held my life in his hands. And
Right.
because I would not cooperate, the CPS worker said, I was sitting in her office one day, and she said, "Tiffany, I really need you to do this." And I said, "I told you, I'm not doing it." She said, "I'm calling your parole officer. I'm going to tell him to violate you." I picked the phone up and I called him for her. And he said, "Hand her the phone." I handed her the phone. Her face dropped. She turned pale white, handed me back the phone, and he said, "I told her, I cannot force you to do anything you don't want to do. And if you're not breaking the law, I cannot violate you."
Yeah.
And I told her to stop threatening you with that.
Very good. We have
I
no
never
such
played with
advocates.
them. I didn't
You
play
had an
with the
advocate in your
judges
parole
here.
officer.
Well, you're in Virginia. She's in Virginia.
Sounds like
you
your
know.
probation officer was.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was, but years later, I mean, they wanted my one daughter. Okay, there was 3. I'm good enough to raise my oldest and my youngest, but not the middle one. Are you kidding me?
That's what I'm
So they
wondering.
Was she
terminated my
easy to
rights.
place? Yeah. She was easy to place. She was easy to adopt.
She was already there.
Her youngest and our oldest.
So yeah. So then when my daughter caught her case in 2021, I went to the hospital with her. They waited for me to leave. The nurse went behind the 2 doctors' backs, called. CPS showed up. I went back to the hospital. Her and I got into it there. I invoked my daughter's rights, my grandson's rights. For 2 hours, 12 police officers and a CPS worker were on my property. I did a FOIA request. I got the body cam footage, and we lit them up. We lit them up in court, and we won administratively. No, do not play with me, because the first thing I tell parents is from the very first moment you have an interaction with these people, not only record them, start inserting your constitutional rights, because after that, latches is intact, and you cannot go back and say, "Well, they should have told me what my rights were." No, you're supposed to know what your rights are.
Well, when you assert them and they still tell you, "Yeah, you're not getting a trial. What's going to happen
that's
here is
bullshit.
you're going to cop to it." Yeah, it's how it works. That's how Virginia went for us.
Well, let me tell you.
Let
me tell you, the CPS workers in my town, if they say my name in front of a CPS worker, the first thing they tell them, "You better stay away from her. Miss Wise is trouble." And I helped the FBI agent get her granddaughter out of foster care. And the FBI agent was in my home and said, "Oh, you're right, Miss Wise. You are trouble for them."
That's right.
So I don't know if you guys are still tied to Virginia or not, but I know someone from Virginia that knows a lot of stuff.
Right now, we are trying to get the CPS record and the court record from Virginia. Again, they stonewall you. they tell you you're the accused, so you're not entitled to your record. I tell them this is a FOIA request.
Nuh-uh. Now you need to do a Brady request.
Brady request.
Yep.
And if they tell you that it only applies in criminal, absolutely not. It's criminal and civil. Yes, indeed. And if you still can't get it, you let me know, because I have a lawyer that I trust here. He's the only one I trust. I will give you his number and he will help you get those records.
Okay.
Where are they based out of?
She's in Virginia.
Virginia? What part of Virginia?
Michael's asking whereabouts in Virginia. He was raised in Damascus, Lebanon, Abingdon.
Okay, well, I'm hours from there. I'm all the way up here in Winchester, Virginia, at the peak.
Winchester.
Oh, I know where she's at. Yeah.
She's from West Virginia.
I am not from West Virginia, Darren. But
she's up there near the West Virginia line.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I am 25 miles from two parts of West Virginia. But there is a lawyer in Roanoke. And you can Google him. Go ahead and Google him. His name is Patrick McGraw. He's out of Roanoke. You can get his phone number from there. And when you call him, you tell him Tiffany Wise sent you. He knows exactly who I am.
Definitely.
I've sent 22 people to him, and he's helped all 22 people.
Can he help find my son? They are deliberately withholding his location. I know he's in a private institution, and I don't know if his overture that got him institutionalized, I don't know if it was a sincere overture, if it was just to get away from her, because at the 2020 visit, he confided in us that he wanted the hell out of that that dynamic, and I wonder whether perhaps this was his way of trying to beat the system and get out of the household.
Well, that's Pat McGraw, only lawyer in Virginia that I trust. He fucks CPS up all across the Virginia. He travels and he does law in Iowa.
Okay, that's a good step in the right direction. Oh, so this also led us down the road of different strategies. Like I was telling you earlier, we made the which of course he's being maligned left and right. I get people PMing me, oh, he's a psyop. Oh, he's not the real deal. Oh, he's bad. He's this and that. Well, his reasoning is solid. If you watch his TikToks and you follow his train of thought and his argumentation, it's waterproof.
I know Tanawa.
His arguments are waterproof. I don't want to get into anything personal because I know that you had Amber on the show at one point. But
no, well, that's between them. I don't get in that shit.
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Yeah. His argumentation is waterproof. He has been able to prove from the founders of our great nation, from the Federalist Papers, from other supporting documents, and from the original texts that are written in their hand script and christened with their blood, that the state doesn't have authority in a CPS case. It's SCOTUS that has original jurisdiction. Every last one of these cases is a farce. It is to be voided. It is to be treated as though it had never happened. Return the diamonds, and what is it? $600 per hour per kid for the bond that they are trying to sever. In our case, they haven't severed the bond, but they sure as heck have harmed at least one of our children very severely. The other two, they're damaged too. That's a whole other story. We have contact with them and are gonna require some intense love. Children deserve a safe nest. They deserve a stress-free, just the opportunity to flourish. And that's what our founders wrote. They said, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. That's what they were trying. That's what they were trying to experiment, right? and they wrote it out so beautifully. If you read it, it harmonizes. It's got checks, it's got balances. If you follow it the way it's written, I know I sound a lot like a socialist. Oh, socialism is so good if you just do it
I'm all
in the
about the
pure form.
Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all that. That is what
Right.
I eat, sleep, and breathe.
It's good stuff. And when you know it, and we stood on it, but they wouldn't let us. When I got my records back from the court, I was looking through them, like, where's all the stuff that I filed? Where's all the stuff that I was filing myself? The mandamus and the court administrator goes, Mrs. Brabson, I don't know if you realize this, but we're not entertaining any of your motions. We're just filing everything in the administrative file. Are you admitting to the fact that you're not documents that I'm filing as a pro se litigant? It's all falling on deaf ears. You better not be recording me. Tennessee is a state. Nah, it doesn't apply. I suspect you of a crime. If I suspect you of criminal activity,
So they
admitted right there.
They denied you access to the court.
Yep.
Well, I even looked it up on Tennessee. Tennessee is a one-party state.
Only
So
one
is
party
Virginia.
has. And Virginia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which when it comes to law officials or anything like that, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, they do as they please.
So either one of two things is happening. Either they are now considering you a
Vexatious litigant.
Yeah.
They use the word vexatious.
Yes.
Correct.
So now you actually have a case to take to the federal court because it is very clear, and I think the Declaration of Independence that says it is the right of the people to access the courts. Doesn't matter what you file or how much you file.
That's right. And we can petition for redress of just because in the courtroom the judge is telling you, counselor, shut your client up, which of course is going to be redacted. If you can afford the transcript, it's going to be redacted.
Have you ever said this to a judge? Don't make me leave your courtroom and go call a civil rights attorney.
We thought it, but he was threatening us with jail.
Listen, have you ever stood up in court and said, do not make me leave your courtroom and go call a civil rights attorney?
The reason I didn't use that, it's in my back pocket. I'm ready to use it. But Tiff, I had to make sure I had a civil rights attorney, and I called them all.
Listen,
I couldn't get one.
Just the mere threat will change their attitude. This judge that I did that to will no longer hear any case with my name on it.
Love it. Yeah, we had that in our back pocket, but I wanted to make sure that it was truthful. Every single look, you can't get a civil rights attorney. I've made phone calls, written emails, written letters, pounded the pavement.
Listen, the mere threat of a federal judge hearing a case over a Article 1 judge is devastating to them. I did it to 2 judges. I told one I was going to leave her courtroom and go call a civil rights attorney. She dismissed the whole damn case. I'm going to give you what you want, Miss Wise. I know you are. And the second one was over child support. And I pissed him off so bad because I kept throwing constitutional shit at him and the law. I'm just dismissing your whole case. And I laughed at him. I said, that's great. That's what you do. Mm-hmm. Now I jumped up and I said, I'll see you in federal court. Oh, now it's come back, Miss Wise. Come back here. We're not done yet. Oh, yeah, now we're not done. I wonder why. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, I don't care. You just use that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't have an actual constitution. Anyway,
they don't know that.
You're right. I should have done that.
They don't know that you don't know.
They don't know that.
But I do have some civil rights attorneys, and I got one 8 miles down the road. And let me tell you what he said when he saw the body cam footage, the police reports, and the bullshit that they put on my daughter. This is exactly what he said to me. Miss Wise, you don't have any damages because you took them to school. But your daughter, on the other hand, oh yes, we can sue that CPS worker. Absolutely, we can. And anybody that else that gets involved.
You're gonna give me a list of names and numbers, my friend.
Well, I can tell you, I'll get his name. He's in Clark County. He's Google Berryville, Virginia, civil rights attorney. His name will pop right up. Thompson.
Berryville, like one of the Bee Gees?
Yep, Berry, like a berry.
Oh, B.E. Berryville,
Virginia.
Civil, you know Berryville,
civil rights attorney.
Okay.
And he's a very nice man.
Oh, the other beautiful part of this is her husband is former military. What do we know about the oath that the military takes? Uphold and defend the Constitution. Sat in my living room and said to me in 2012, 2013, you know that these courts are raking you over the coals, right? You know that they're not allowed to do what they're doing. You know they're violating your civil rights. I'm thinking to myself, you're helping them. Okay? Virginia civil rights.
His last, I think it's Timothy John Thompson. I think that's his name.
Loading.
Very nice man.
Woods and Woods. James Feynman, Morgan and Morgan. That's
no, Morgan and Morgan ain't gonna do nothing.
Virginia, I said. Scott Smiley.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Timothy.
Oh, Timothy R. Johnson, right here. 10 years of experience. 540-352-4672. Got
That's
it.
his name.
Yeah, I'll be on the phone.
Tell him Tiffany Wise sent you.
I'll be on the phone tomorrow. Yes. Yes. The other, what's the other matter? This sent us down several different avenues. Oh. No, that's not what I want to talk about. Oh yeah, constitutional rights attorneys, the different strategies. Okay, a federal case. We've enjoined a federal case where, you know, two or three dozen disenfranchised are alleging RICO. We have proof that the SETA KB trust is a real thing. That signing the birth certificate is like signing a ransom note. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll pay this ransom note.
Yeah.
For all targets, usually the poor. You know, senators' kids are not getting taken, and governors' kids are not getting taken. Just the average people that they thought that they were going to hide this from, down on through the decades. We've got all this proof, and the court is teetering on the side of,
yeah,
in spite of the fact that we have hard, fast evidence. Yeah, they're going to call it frivolous. So what do? We name them, right? We name them as the next party involved in the RICO cover-up.
Right, but if they call you frivolous, then you're all done.
If they call us frivolous, when in fact we are in the know and not standing for it, and we're not going to let our babies be trafficked and exploited and, you know, murdered. There's plenty of dead kids. There's plenty of dead parents, suicidal parents. That's not frivolous. Mm-hmm. We need to bring this stuff to the fore, and there needs to be public awareness, and there needs to be change. Mm-hmm. We need to take the bounties off our children's heads. We need to remove any incentives that may exist subsequent to AFSA 1997.
Did you file with because Gunner put a website on here, the RFK/Human Rights. They're taking complaints.
RFK/Human Rights. Yep. Of course, we did the whole judicial conduct complaints to the Bar Association. Nothing to see here. Poo-poo, go away. RFK /human rights.
Yep.
Okay, we'll get on that next. Got Thompson over here. We got a lot of juicy tidbits.
Well, I'm sorry that she had to go through all this, but don't call the attorney general.
I'm sorry for the kids
anymore, because he's the attorney for your state. He's not going to do shit. He's going to represent the state.
Well, as a matter of fact, he's on the RICO. He's one of the people who's complicit.
Well, yeah, he's every attorney general is supposed to be signing off on every removal,
which they're not substantiated. They've got falsified drug tests. They've got I know one lady, KL, I'll just call her KL, perfectly fit Grandy, but in the hospital and she hasn't seen him in 10 years. That's her flesh and blood. They just traffic him out, exploit him to another family who's looking for a warm baby.
Wow.
RFK humanrights.org, Robert F. Kennedy advocacy, is that it? Oh, okay. All right, good lead. I'll get over there.
and then when Donald Trump goes into office on January 20th, the White House will flip over their emails. So you start emailing the president, because
I've already started.
Oh.
I started the day that he was elected.
Have you heard from him?
Said, okay, you've been elected. No, of course not. I heard from him in his first administration, and he said, thank you for forwarding your concerns, so that your concerns are forwarded to the appropriate department. Sounded a lot to me like, I'm just going to pass this along to CPS. The first time we gave you a chance, buddy, but it's time to decide whether or not we inaugurate, right?
Well, here's the good thing. He put RFK in with not just the food, but with Health and Human Services.
So it's looking good for us?
So far.
Okay.
They're all still
politicians. What about Conaway's work, where he's trying to pass SCOTUS? He needs one Supreme Court justice to sign his writ that admits that none of us got indictments by a grand jury. None of us got access to the constitutional provisions. The states are substituting their own alternate legislation, and they're convicting based on, whims, on their whimsy. Anything of SCOTUS?
I think Tanawa is going to make it to the Supreme Court. It's just going to take some time, because you have to look at what we've been dealing with the last 4 years, right? So everything's about to change. I'm telling you. Trump can get rid of who he wants to, but who's really going to do it is Levesque and Elon Musk. Those are the ones that are going to start doing it. Yeah, Levesque.
Oh, Vivek, that guy Ramaswamy.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I searched. Okay.
And Musk. I'm telling you, once they start getting rid of the federal shit, it's going to trickle down into the states, because they're going to lose a lot of funding. And CPS and child support are on those lists. Health and Human Services is on that list.
On the chopping block.
And now that the American Bar Association has come out back in June and said, yes, CPS has been policing Black and Hispanic families. Now they're coming out and saying they want to change the laws about TPRs, because it's not right. And it is a fundamental right to be a parent under the Constitution. That's what the appellate attorney said. And Vinny's on here. He heard what he said. The same shit we've been teaching.
Robert. The Roberts case got it constitutionally codified. You can have a Supreme Court case that says, you know what, it's not written in a constitutional right. It's not enumerated, but it's still implied, and so it is Constitution. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Wow, well, that's a hell of a
Yeah, I
story.
gotta put the baby to bed.
Yep, it's baby time. Do you have anything, last words there, Miss Lady, before we end this tonight? You got anything else you want to get out there?
Families to be aware that there's a set of KV trust for every child that you have. That trust is loaded with $1 million at the child's birth, and it starts growing and growing and growing.
Yes,
Trade in the
it does.
stock market. It's got a QSIP number associated with it. You can run your QSIP numbers. Talk to Darren Gway.
Mhm.
He knows how to run those
I
QSIP
sure do.
numbers. He can prove to you that there is a bounty on the head of your child, and that you got to have. Lucinda Pennington has some really smart suggestions about if CPS comes to your door. You immediately start filming. You immediately get your attorney that you have in your back pocket on the phone instant. She's got a lot of good ideas. Go to my Facebook page for a lot more elucidation about the truth.
Yeah, what's your
About what's
Facebook
going on in these.
page?
I'm under Andrew Brabson, Andrew. It's a pseudonym.
Yeah.
My,
Put it up here. I'm trying to
this
get
is
rid
my
of
training
this
name.
thing.
It's just I needed a pseudonym because they canceled my account so many times. Zuck once upon a time was Sucker
Right.
Duck, and now I saw he put out a message today saying he's going to be a little bit taking down posts and not allowing our accounts to be hacked. And
Well, that's because Donald Trump said anybody who or any platform that restricts anybody's freedom of speech, they are to notify the Trump administration and they will be sanctioned.
Hey, sounds like we got a good what is it? He's the executive branch. We got a good executive branch. He's enforcing.
Right.
We hope for good things with him. We hope he takes this judgment and goes, we hope he rips it up and says, hey, we get them kids back. How about you return them to the protective? I couldn't even say on a phone call to my daughter, well, I'm about to end this phone call. You're hurting your feelings. No. Art is a good class to be. Doesn't have time to make sure that it does the artwork. United. I'll disconnect this call. Another instance where she threatened one of the phone. You tell Judah that mom on the phone, because our son Judah was in the car and could hear my voice. If you tell that's his birth, I will throw you out of this winter. This is how the Guardian.
Oh no, we lost her. Oh, there she is. She's back.
Darren,
We lost her there for a minute.
I was just saying this. Can you still hear me in my back? The state is punishing protective parents. Yeah, and then they try to imply that we have anger problems. They make us outraged.
that's okay. They said I was belligerent, but I do get belligerent when you start violating people's rights. Yeah, I will. I don't care who you are. I will get ignorant with you. But there is a book out there called "Punished for Protecting." It's on Amazon. And Darren,
I know Francesca Amato. Yep.
Darren, tomorrow's my NAACP executive meeting, so I will not be on tomorrow.
Okay. All right. That works.
Oh yeah,
for me.
you need to reach out to your local NAACP too and file a complaint with your local chapter.
Yep. And you know what? You can pick up my book too, right? Right, Tiff?
Yep. Darren wrote a book too.
Yep. Right here. It's called Stay Calm. CPS is coming. It's right here.
Stay calm.
Yeah. That's what it's all about. It's everything you need to know about CPS, what they're doing, the whole nine. It's right there. It's right on Amazon. So you guys can pick that up too.
Is everything I need to know about what you and Gunner are doing? Is that somewhere?
There's a lot of it. There's a lot of information in this book. It's 237 pages. So
Okay.
there's all kinds of things from start to finish.
It's
how to take turn-
267 pages.
Oh, I'm sorry, 267.
267.
see-
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice short
it's got all
read.
kinds of good stuff in there. Yep, real quick. So, all right, Babs
It's
and
gonna
family. Well, thank
be-
you all.
Every wedding we give to everybody as a wedding gift.
Hell yeah, you damn right. People that are thinking about being parents need to have this book for sure.
That's right. That's right.
But that's great. Well, thank you guys very much for coming on. We definitely want to have you on here again for sure, and keep doing updates with you. See where you guys are at.
I've got a lot to be able to follow up with Tiff
Mhm.
and let you know how things are going. And man, Trump 2024.
That's right.
2020.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Tired of getting screwed and start doing.
All right.
Good night, guys.
Good
Thank
night,
you for
guys.
having
Thank you guys very much.
And thank you for letting me put it there. If anybody knows where he is, I'm his mom. Reach out to me. Andrew Brabson
All
on
right.
Facebook.
We'll pass that along too. Thanks, Miss Brabson.
They had to fight, and now we take the sacrifice.
Thank you,
Thank
Tiff and
you.
Darren.
Wow, what a story. All right, Tiff. Well, I'll see you on what day is
Sunday.
today? Sunday. All right. So Tiff will be
Stay
back
back.
Sunday. I'll be
Stay
back
back.
tomorrow night. Bye, little man. Have a good day, buddy. Be good for Gaia. All right, everybody. Have a good night.
Hey, Uncle Sam, where did you go? I call Washington today, but nobody's home. We all want to stand for our freedom, but nobody wants to do it today. Can't you see time is a waste and the Constitution we love is fading? Make no tread on the reality, or the USA will be the next casualty.
I'm the one that you hate for making America great, and I'm the one who's trying to build back better. We ain't the same. Yeah, you're right. There's a difference. Y'all are woke and we're awake. What a joke. Does white privilege have something to say? Your president drove the country into the ground. The crime rate is through the roof. There ain't no jobs to be found. Inflation going up. My kids need food in their mouths. You put the fake news on every TV screen in my house. Hold up. Your president a racist, homophobic. Tried to overthrow democracy and everybody knows it. He will never make America great again like the slogan. He a white supremacist, just like all of you who voted. That is not facts. All you woke morons do is talk trash. Drag queens in classrooms hate anyone who's not black. You're pro-white, you know that's what the Klan members are, right? You're anti-LGBTQ, then why they always on your mind? Bro, you're a boy, you're a girl, stop playing stupid. You screwing up the youth and all the children are our future. You don't care about the kids, look at all the school shootings. You're pro-gun, it's your fault, stop making those excuses. You think anyone who don't agree with you is just a bigot. You're a fascist, you're a Nazi. You just mad because you triggered. You're just jealous of the left because we're progressive and we're winning. Now I'm tripping that you won the election because you rigged it.
They put you on the left, they put you on the right. They tell you what to hate, then they tell you who to fight. Till you're screaming, screaming. They put you on the right, they put you on the left. They tell you who to hate, they do anything to get you screaming, screaming.
My president draining the swamp, we building walls. Your president opened the border for one and all. Now there's murderers and criminals evading the law. Walking right into America, our safety is gone. Well, my president ended pandemic, saved the economy, and introduced legislation fighting for our equality. His son smokes crack. I don't care about that, honestly. He's raising all our wages. He can't raise his children properly. You obviously pro-life. A woman's choice is your right. I feel like abortion is important and you don't like. You're treating it like birth control. You're treating them like your wife. I said that all lives matter and I also meant unborn life. You're so clever, go ahead make your little memes while we're bringing home the soldiers who were in the Middle East. Okay, you brought the soldiers home, but then you burnt the flag and took a knee and left the men who fought for all our freedom homeless on the street. Build back better, there'll be violence and riots until you Bible thumpers learn to fall in line and trust the science. We ain't ever backing down from all you pedos and tyrants. The right is fighting the system, the left designed to divide us. And that is clown talk, all you got is mean tweets. It's free speech, call the cops, dog, you defunded the police. This country will be better off without all you freaks. This is America, homie, if you don't like it, you can leave.
They put you on the left, they put you on the right. They tell you what to hate, then they tell you who to fight. Till you're screaming, screaming. They put you on the right, they put you on the left. They tell you who to hate, they do anything to get you screaming, screaming.
No president will ever give a damn about the truth. It don't matter who's the winner, cause the people always lose. No president will ever break the system from inside. It's a deep state plan dividing us into sides. It don't matter if you're left, right, black, white, red, blue, conservative or liberal, rich, poor, me, you, Republican or Democrat, old, young, mean, cool. They promise us our freedom, but then all we get is free doom.
They put you on the left, they put you on the right. They tell you what to hate, then they tell you who to fight. Till you're screaming, screaming. They put you on the right, they put you on the left. They tell you who to hate, they do anything to get you screaming.